International trade. International trade is the exchange of goods, capital goods, and services across international border or territories because there is a need or want to goods and services. In most countries, such as trade represents significant share of gross domestic product, while international trade has existed throughout history. For example, Uttarpatha Silk Road, Amber Road, Scramble of Africa, Atlantic, Slave Salt Road, its economic, social, and political influence has been rise recent centuries. Carrying out trade at international level is complex process why and compared to domestic trade when trade take place between two or more state factors like currency, government policy, economy, judicial system, laws, and market influence trade. To ease the justify the process of trade between countries and different economic standards in modern era, some international economic organizations were formed, such as World Trade Organization. These organizations work toward the facilitation to and growth of the international trade. Statistical service of the intergovernmental and supranational organizations and government statistical agencies publish official statistics on international trade. Characteristic of the world trade: a product that has been transferred or sold from a party in one country to a party in another country is export from the organizing country and import of the country receiving the product. Import and export are accounted in country different currency accounted in balance of payment. Trading globally makes give consumer and country the opportunity to export new market and product. Almost every kind of product can be found international market. For example, food, clothes, spare parts, oil, jewelry, wine, stock, currency, and water services are also traded, such as tourism, banking, consulting, transportation, advanced technology, including transportation, globalization, industrialization, outsourcing, and multinational corporations have major impact on international trade system. Differences for domestic trade: international trade is principle not different from the domestic trade, has been motivation parties involved in trade and not in fundamentally regarding the whether trade. However, in practical terms, carrying out trade is at an international level a typically more complex process than domestic trade. The main difference is that international trade is typically more costly than domestic trade. This is due to the fact that the cross-border trade typically incurs additional costs such as explicit tariff as well as the explicit or implicit non-tariff barriers such as time cost due to the border delays, language and culture difference, product safety, and other legal system and so on. Another difference: domestic and international trade is factor of production such as capital and labor are often more mobile within a country than across border. Thus, international trade is mostly restricted to trade in goods and services and only lesser extent to a trade in capital, labor, or other risk factor of production. Trade in goods and services can serve as a sustainable for trade in factors of production. Instead of importing a factor of production, a country can import goods that market initiatives such of the factor of production thus employ it. Example of this is import of the labor extensive good in United States of China. Instead of importing China labor, the United States import goods and goods that were produced by China labor. One report suggested that international trade was increased when a country hosted a network of immigrants, but the trade effect was weakened when the immigrant were become assimilated into new country. History: the history of international trade chronicles notable event that affected trading among various economies, theories, and more. There are several models of explains factor behind international trade, the welfare consequences of trade and better trade. Okay, that is country of region of total international trade. European Union, wow, wow, China, United States, Germany, Netherlands. Total international: France, Italy, Belgium. Top traded commodities by value: export, mineral, fuel, oil distribution. Relevance of use: electrical equipment, machinery, nuclear, optical, iron, steel, organic, chemical. Observance: in the US, that various of US presidents have held observance and promote big and small companies to more involved with export and import of the goods and services. President George W. Bush observed World Trade Week on May 18, 2001, May 17, 2002. On May 13, 2006, President Barack Obama proclaimed May 15 through May 21, 23 World Trade Week 2016. On May 19, 2000, President Donald Trump proclaimed May 21 through May 27th here. World Trade Week is the third week of May every year. President declares that week to a World Trade Week. Local food. In case of the not food production trade-off in form of local food, the distance food production are controversial. Limited studies comparing environmental impact and scientists cautioning that regionally specific environment impact should be considered. Effect of the local food on greenhouse gas emission may per origin and target region of the production. According to 2020 IPCC report of the climate change, that an international trade not carbon emission has reduced between 2006 and 2016. A study of indicted that local food corporation production alone cannot meet the demand for the most food crop. Current production consumption pattern and location of food production at the time of study 70 to 89% of the global population and 800-kilometer radius of the early 2020 studies found that the food miles and relatively minor factor of the carbon emission, although it increase food localization may also enable additional, more significant environmental benefits such as recycling of energy, water, and nutrients. For specific food, regional differences in harvest season may make it more environmental friendly to import distance region more local production and storage of local production in greenhouse. Qualitative difference between substitutive product of different production region may exist due to different legal requirement and quality standard or different level of controversiality. While local production or government systems may be high respect the security beyond resource security, environmental production, product quality and product design and health process of transforming supply as well as labor right may be differ as well. Local production has been reported to increase local employment in many cases. In 2018, a study claimed that the international trade can increase local employment. A 2016 study found that local employment labor income in both manufacturing and non-manufacturing were negatively affected by the rising exposure to import. Local production in high income countries rather than distant region may require higher wages of workers. Higher wages initiate incentive automation which could allow automated worker time to reallocate it by society and economic mechanism or convert it into leisure like them. Specialization, production efficiency and regional differentiation. Local production may require knowledge transfer, technology transfer may are not able to complete it efficiency initially with specialized established industries and business or consumer demand without policy measures such as eco tariff. Regional difference may cause a specific region to be more suitable for a specific production, thereby increasing the advantage of over a specific local production. Form of local product that are highly localized may not be able to meet the efficiency of more local large scale highly concentrated production in terms of efficiency including environment, resource security, illicit trade. See also aggressive. The reference has been said in illegal gold trade. A number of people in Africa, including children, were using informal artisanal method to produce gold. Through small scale mining, government of Ghana, Tanzania, Zambia compliment about the increase of illegal production and gold smuggling. Sometimes the produce involve criminal operation and even human environmental costs. Investigate report based on Africa export data reveal that gold is in a large quantity smuggled out of the country through United Arab Emirates without any taxes being paid on the producing state. Analysis and reflected discrepancies in the amount of exported from Africa to total gold exported into the UAE. In France, exchange rate is a rate at which currency one currency will exchange to the another currency. Currency are most commonly national currency, but may be subnational as a case of Hong Kong or supranational in case of Euro. The exchange rate is regarded as the value of one country currency in relation to another currency. For example, interbank exchange rate 131 Japanese yen to United States means 131 will exchange or US dollar 1 will exchange or 131 euro. In the case of it said that the price of the dollar in relation to yen 131 equivalent that the price of yen in relation dollar to 1. Each country determine the exchange rate will apply to a currency. For example, a currency may be floating, price fixed or hybrid. High government can impose certain limits and control on the exchange rate. Government can strong or weak currency. There is no arrangement in the economic literature or optimal national exchange rate. Rather, national exchange rate regime reflect a political consideration. In floating exchange rate regime, exchange rate are determined the foreign exchange market, which is often wide, which currency trading is continuous 24 hour a day except weekend trading from to Sunday. The spot exchange rate was currency exchange rate, while forward exchange rate is exchange rate that is traded to deliver the delivery of the payment on a specific future date. In retail currency exchange market, different buying and selling rate have been quoted $5 million. Most trade are the for local currency. The buying rate is the rate at which money dealers will buy foreign currency, and the selling rate at which rate they will sell the currency. The quoted rate will incorporate allowance of the dealer's margin. Different rate may be quoted by cash, documentary transaction, electronic transfer. The higher rate of documentary transaction has been justified compensating of additional time and cost of clearing the document. On the other hand, cash is available for resale immediately, but incur security, storage, and transportation cost. The cost of typing up capital in strong of bank currency of international trade and cross-border payment is predominantly purchased from bank. Foreign exchange brokerage and various bureaus DX, retail outright source currency from interbank market, which is valued by Bank of International Statement for 5.3 trillion per day. What are you saying, bro? Bank of India, the retail. The purchase is made by spot contract rate. Retail customer will charge in the form of commission. How many minutes has been completed? Around 12 minutes going to be complete in this video. Not going to be like I just want to improve my vocabulary. One form of change is to exchange rate is the difference between retail buying and selling price different is a bid asking spread. There is a market convention that rules of notation used to be communicate the fixed and variable currency in the quotation. For example, in conversion UR to UAD, UR to fixed currency, UAD is variable currency, and exchange rate indicate how many Australian dollar would be paid to receive of €1. In some areas of Europe and the retail market in United Kingdom, Europe and GV, GV in a quoted and fixed currency to euro. In order to determine which is the fixed currency with when either currency or not our list, market convention is to use the fixed currency which give you an exchange rate greater than 1000. The reduced rounding issue the need to be used excessive number of decimal places. There is some acceptance over the rule. For example, in the Japanese often quote their currency as a base of their currency quotation using a country home currency's price currency is known as a direct quotation for price quotation. Quotation using a country home currency is a unit currency. For example, use is known as an indirect hand question. Using direct quotation, if a home currency is strengthening, that an exchange rate number of decreases. Conversely, if a foreign currency is strengthening, the home currency is depreciating, the exchange number increasing. Market convention 1980s 2006 was most currency pair was quoted for decimal for 6 decimal port of swat. In 2015, Berkeley exchange rate regime, countries are free and choose which type of exchange rate regime they apply to their currency. The many type of exchange rate regime are free, floating place, and hybrid. In floating regime, exchange rate are allowed to vary against each other according to market forces supply. Exchange rate or such currencies are likely to change almost consistently at quoted the financial market, mainly by banks around the world. A movable and adjustable peg system is system of the fixed exchange rate, but the provision of the revolution usually devaluation of currency. For example, between 1994 and 2005, the Chinese yuan, renminbi as pegged United States dollar. China was not only a country to do this. By the end of World War II until 1967, Western European countries all maintained fixed exchange rate with the US dollar on the Bretton Woods system. But that system has been abandoned by the favor of floating market-based regime due to the market price and speculation. According to the President Richard Nixon speech in 1597, which is known as the Nixon shock, still some governments try to keep their currency with a narrow range, and as a result of currency become more overvalued and undervalued, leading to excessive trade deficit or surplus. That's the thing have to discuss. Illegal to gold trade. Have you already compared? This is other classification according to level for an exchange market. Factor affecting change in exchange rate. Emerging fluctuation in exchange rate, purchasing power of currency, real exchange rate and equivalent misalignment, bilateral and effective exchange rate, parallel exchange rate, economic model, balance of payment model, asset model, manipulation and exchange rate. That's all for this video. We'll see you next time.